to Mornings with Mo, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. It is December 19th, 2025. We are 11 days away from 2026. I cannot believe we are absolutely here. It is insane in these Wakanda streets. It is 56 degrees outside, and they say there's light rain, but baby, that rain does not sound light at all. And then we're going to have wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. So hold on to your wigs, your weaves, your eyelashes, and all the things, right? So it is Friday. I just put up a post about menopause because I'm telling you, my poor husband, he needs sainthood. I dip and dive and dip and dive, and I've tried everything. Someone says try black girl vitamins. Someone says hormone therapy. The doctor did prescribe the hormone therapy for me. Sent it to the pharmacy. I got it, and I looked at it, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing this because what she said to me was, in about 5 or so years, you need to be concerned about cancer, ma'am. I'm not doing that. She said, up to 10 years, you'll be fine. I'm like, I'm not doing that. With all the other things that are going on out here, I'm not adding possibly getting cancer from doing hormone therapy. But in the meantime, I am struggling, y'all. I am really, truly struggling. And it's just not been easy. So, in my effort to be transparent with all of you, I just wanted you to know because my husband, to all the men out here that are dealing with wives and girlfriends who are in perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, it's not easy. And it may seem to you like we went from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde overnight. Perimenopause starts at around 37 years old. Yes, I said it. So that second half of our lives, listen, it's a lot going on out here. And we just all of a sudden, some days I look at my husband and I go, why do you even exist? Now, the man is not doing anything other than saying, good morning, dear. Or babe, how are you this morning? It's just, I see him and my whole body goes, go away. So I have to literally tell myself, Andrea, this is not you. This is his girlfriend, menopause, who's here for a spell. Be nice to the man. The man is nice to you. And then the slightest thing irritates me. Why did you leave that thing on the table? Why couldn't you just put it in the trash can? The trash can is right there. And he's looking at me like, so what my husband does now, he says, I'm leaving. He says, I'm leaving. When you're done, let me know so I can go in the space that you were in because we can't exist in the same space together because it's a lot, right? And so I'm sharing transparently so that we don't walk around thinking that we're crazy and that men, our spouses, not just men, because, they're same-sex partners, that our partners are like, yeah, no, we can't deal with you. You're crazy. And literally marriages have ended and relationships have ended when women go into menopause. It's crazy as hell. Bonetta says, it's bad. When you find the solution, please let me know. Dr. Major says, black girl vitamins is a no-no. See there? See there? See there? See there? And that's why, I've tried to I have a box full of things. Try this, try that, try this, try that. And I'm like, yeah, none of it is working. So let's just go. Let's just go and figure it out. Jacinia says the black girl vitamins are working for her. Good morning, Dr. Jana. Always good to see you. So our show is going to run a little bit long this morning. I have State Rep Darisha Parker on at 7. And at 7:30, I have Dr. Ayla Stanford. I saw a video of her talking about the Affordable Care Act and reached out to her via my producer to see if she can come on and talk about it because that's around the corner. I'm off all next week, and I didn't want to wait until after January to talk about it when it had already expired. So let's see where that goes. Winetta says, do the menopause symptoms ever stop? Some folks say they do, but I know folks in their 70s who are still experiencing 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or all of the 70 symptoms. So it's really having to adjust ourselves in that process. All right, so let me do my morning motivation quickly. Jacinia said, why are black girl vitamins a no-no? I don't know. Someone, Alexandra just said, Dr. Major said they're a no-no. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Again, this happened 2 years ago. Morning motivation. This happened 2 years ago. I continue to watch her blossom and change lives. A few days ago, I heard authenticity that was so pure, I broke out in goosebumps. It went beyond talking to be heard, seeking empathy, or to be seen. It cared genuinely about those in its presence. There was no denying it on any level. I waited for a moment, walked up to the person it came from, looked dead into her eyes, and said, "Young lady." And she literally launched herself into my arms before I could say anything else for a hug that lasted a good while. We had never met before, but I laid at her feet what I saw when she let me go and the cost that will come with it. But she must continue no matter what. Lives are attached to her. Michelle Obama said in an interview last night that people seek that which is authentic, and it is what so many lack, no matter how qualified they may seem. If you don't fully like or embrace others, no matter how polished you are or how hard you smile, people feel that above all else. Authenticity. Don't leave home without it. Still watching that young lady. She's kicking butt. She is walking her walk, and I'm not going to name her. She has been so authentic. She's been able to help so many people, and she's young, right? And folks, folks want you to be, oh, you just got to say things a certain way or do things a certain way. We have to unlearn a lot of things that we've learned over the years. Yes, you have to have manners. Yes, you have to, speak properly when you're in certain order, and yeah, all of that, but you can do all of that and still maintain your authenticity, and she does. One day I'm going to name her. She's begun winning a bunch of awards and a ton of money on behalf of the work that she's been doing, and I'm so stinking proud of her, because what I saw that day, and was 2 years, probably about 4 years now, what I saw that day is exactly what is manifesting itself. Work on your core values. Be kind to people. Don't always think it's your voice alone to be heard and that you have the answers to everything. You have to you cannot exist in a bubble and believe that everything you say and do is okay. You must speak up on whatever it is that's happening to you in the moment that you feel needs to be, and say sorry. Apologize when you are wrong. It's not so difficult, is it? But when the only voice you listen to is your own, when you make people believe that you want to hear what they have to say, and you want to hear their thoughts and feelings around folks, don't pull people around you if you're not going to listen to them. Because when you sink, you're going to sink on your own, right? So it's a lot. It's a lot. Good morning, Rachel Hannibal. How are you, my darling? Viola says my two oldest daughters are having a bad time, 55 and 49. Shut up. Viola. She said, I didn't. And my nana didn't either. Well, you can show some empathy, ma'am. Monica says, yes, unlearn a lot of things my children are teaching me. Absolutely. Absolutely. Monica says, no, it's not easy, my sister. You're not alone. My mood swings have finally calmed. I got through by just holding on. My issue is memory. Yes. Baby, the she says, losing my words in the middle of my talking, Jesus. The other day I wanted to reach out to a friend of mine who I'd known for years and years. I could see her face. I could see the unicorn that she describes herself as, and I couldn't remember her name. It took me about 2, 3 minutes. And I'm going, what is her name? I'm not looking it up. What is her name? The memory fog, the brain fog is something else. It is something else. And so I'm consistently doing things that to help my brain continue to stay where it is. My mother would do puzzles, word puzzles. After she passed away, I took her book of word puzzles and I do them online called Wordscape. And I'll sit somewhere. I'm on a train. I am doing something else, and I'll pull up my Wordscape and play the games because it makes my brain think. That my brain doesn't freeze all the time. But we're going through so many things. Alexandra says at Jasenia, she stated that some of the ingredients used aren't good for everyone. Their bodies have reactions they're not aware of. Just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good. Wow. And that's why I mess with Dr. Majors. Winetta says, thanks for the memory loss comment. I'm experiencing that too. Yeah, it's a lot. Tiffany says, I forget what I want to say next during a conversation. Alexandra says, oh, and the answer to the question, no, the symptoms don't stop. Sweet black baby Jesus, especially the menopause weight. Now, you all see me in the gym 3 days a week. You see me, I would literally have to eat like a bird. And I do, most days. In fact, Audra fights with me and say I don't eat enough because of all the weights that I'm lifting. So I try to stuff the protein in, drink a lot of water. But let me tell you, my stomach says, I'm going to humble you on today. Denise hates when I say on today. On today is not a word, Andrea. My stomach says, I am going to humble you today. You can lift, you can be as cute as you want to be, you can have buff shoulders and great legs, but you're going to have a problem with me, dear Andrea. And so there are days when my stomach looks nice and svelte, and then the other days when it's just poking out, looking at me going, yep, today is the day I humble you. It's a lot. It's a lot. So it is the end of the year. I have, so whew, I know Dr. Ayla is coming on at 7:30, so I may not have time because I'm supposed to do something with Denise this morning. So let me say this now. Uh, in January of this year, in the first quarter of this year, I spent a lot of time talking to all of you about what was coming in this country and where we are and what we're going, what's going on, what you should do, et cetera, et cetera. So that was January, February, March. By April to June, I was in a full blown panic around hearing what was going on with folks. People losing their jobs, folks are being hunted by ICE, all the things that were going on with them. August, September, July, August, and September, I finally calmed myself and I said, okay, you can do what you can do to help people. And whatever you can't do, just keep praying. And October, November, December, I said, bump it. I'm just going to try, continue to try. And in the middle of all those quadrants, you have stood by me. You've stood by the show. You continue to put in you're supporting us on Substack. My team decided at the end of August that we would not do another season of the podcast until early next year, which really saved my soul because I was so exhausted and my brain was all over the place. And so we decided to do that. You all stuck with us for that. Thank you for continuing to subscribe to Substack, for paying, because that helps me to do what I need to do. Continue to like and subscribe to these channels that you're on. And I am on Riverside app. So Riverside pushes out all the content at one time, so I'm not talking to 5 different screens. And now Riverside broadcasts live. So if these other platforms like YouTube and Facebook stops working suddenly, there's a link for you to watch me live on Riverside now. I'm super excited about it. And so, we've been really pulling and working hard to do what needs to be done. I am so grateful. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for sticking with our team. Grateful for them for continuing to do the work along the whole year's path. And for 2026, what I hear from what is downloaded into my head is stay on the path. Stay on the path and continue to do the work. I am not someone who is seeking to have, 1 million likes in 2 days. I literally want to continue to create the good work so that when you find me, you will stay. That is the mantra for this season. When they get here, they will stay, because I'm not using gimmicks or anything like that to make sure that to upload and to making a bunch of noise and saying all kinds of foolish things, trying to get people to click on this thing. This platform is literally to teach, for me to learn from you, for me to teach what I know, for me to give you the things that are going on outside, and to ask the tough questions. I am never unkind. I promise you I'm not unkind, but I am fair as hell. So I will ask you the questions, and you get to answer them any way you want to. And I am never doing the I got you thing. I will not ever do that. In fact, those of you who have been following me from the radio station to where I am now, where I have my own media company, you've seen that this is the way I've always been, right? Just continually doing the work. And as a direct result, people are calling, can we talk to you about X, Y, and Z? Okay, let me see what you have. Give me all the evidence, blah, 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 blah. And I covered it. It got to the point where menopause is a game changer. There's no cure. Oh God. I did a menopause retreat in my community. I suffer from lichen. Okay, so people are really going through it. It's a lot. But I had to tell myself that I couldn't save everybody, right? That it was as difficult as it was. My heart ached. to try and help as many people as I could. And then I realized you just can't help everybody. So then I began seeking all of you. Like when the hurricane happened in Jamaica, you saw all the things I dropped at that sister's doorstep. Her son came out and said, "Oh my God," you know. But this sister said she had been trying and had only been getting drips and drabs. And she said, "Can you just use your voice to help to get people?" Last night, more stuff was dropped off. Another sister says she has 4 more boxes of things for me. And another sister texted sometime last night and says, "Is it too late?" It's never too late, because while the hurricane is gone since October 28th, there's a little fly in here. Yes, and I'm doing it live. Since October 28th, there's been a lot of needs for the people. And where this sister lives in Jamaica is on the western end, where the hurricane came through and devastated a bunch of folks. So to everybody who dropped off tarpaulins or mailed them to me to make sure she could get them, for everyone who dropped off school supplies and soaps and toothpaste and toothbrushes and panties and underwear. One brother, God bless his soul, dropped off a big old bag of socks, and I took them and I dropped them at her door, So I've also been very transparent because I'm doing this according to need. And I know some folks are pissed off at me because I got the call, so and so needs your help. And I said, do they have a roof over their head? Yes. Do they have work? Yes. I said, so they can wait a little bit until other people are able to come along and help them. I'm talking to the people who have nothing, no roof over their head, nothing. Right? And they have to go down to the river to wash their clothes, and they have nothing. I'm talking to those people first. So I know there were a couple of people who were pissed off that I didn't just stop, tuck and roll and send money to them. But we've got to look at the needs of people, and not just because it's somebody that we know. Same thing for me, right? So I've been baking the cakes, and the proceeds from it have been going. People are just crying, right? Because we did not expect this, blah, 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 blah. But you have to see the need. If you see the need and you follow the need, and not for likes or whatever else. And so for the black cakes, for everybody that bought 1 or 2, David, or 3 or 4, because the cakes are really good, the labor that I put into it and the money that I spend on buying the liquor and all of that other stuff is going to into a great space, into great spaces. So thank you. Thank you all so much for our wonderful year. It was filled with so much angst, and I'm being as honest as I can. It was filled with so much angst. I think I went 2 or 3 months without actually sleeping through the night. 2 hours here, 1 hour there. And it continues. In order for us to figure out how we're going to navigate and go through it. Now, the news just hit that our president is saying he's not adverse to having war with Venezuela. So 2026, baby, if you thought 2025 was something, here we go. And for those of you who are sitting around living like it's the same day every day and just going to continue to live your life, I'm not saying don't live your life. I'm saying live your life and practice common sense, because you're going to be slapped with things that you're not expecting. And if you don't, you're going to find yourself in spaces with other people that are like, oh my God, I didn't expect this to come. Use common sense, y'all. It is absolutely necessary in this time. Monica says, Marguerite, Viola says, I can taste the rum. I know. David said that the second batch that I did had way more liquor in it than the first batch. I told y'all, don't eat and drive. Just don't eat and drive. Monica says, Marguerite, my mommy had dementia, so I'm very sensitive to this. I did the same thing, driving myself crazy. It is menopause for me. Marguerite said they can be mad at you and kick rocks with bare feet on glass. That's too funny. You all are hilarious. Monica says, I refuse to allow the economy, world, and president to take me under. I will give you joy, love, and find my time for myself no matter what. Thank you for this show. I need, appreciate, and love you. I love you too, my darling. Laura says, we are grateful for the content you bring to us. It's a labor of love, and we appreciate you. Thank you, my brother. Viola says, maybe it was my cancer. I had a myectomy, DNC, in my 50s. Donna says, the cake is delicious. You will not regret buying one. Listen. Tiffany says, start a no spending challenge for 90 days in 2026. Buy essentials only. I'm there, Tiffany. I am absolutely there. Winona said, "That's right. We have to prioritize the needs of those we help." Small Viola says, "Small slices." Dennis said, "Is that cake even legal?" Child, I don't know. That's why I say don't drink, eat, and drive. It is. It is. Ooh, Lord have mercy. That cake is something else. So Marguerite must have said something. I'm looking for it. Wait. So you all must have replied to the brain fog is real. The name of the folks I've known for decades have been missing from my head. Yes. Ooh. uh, let's see. Let's see. Let me see. Kent, good morning, Kent July, my brother. How are you? It was so awesome talking to you. Joanne Kemp says it says the black girl vitamins aren't FDA approved. Oh, yeah. All right. Marguerite says, Marguerite said something. I'm looking for. Y'all are talking. So every time I do something, thing clicks up. Yes, go through your subscriptions and cancel the ones you're not using. Oh, thank you all so much. I love you all. I can taste the rum. Marguerite must. Oh, and it is moist. It is moist. That cake, you will pick it up and it just. Oh, I tasted it and said, "Yeah, I can't eat this. This is you all. Y'all can go ahead and enjoy it." I do like the no spending thing. Um. Ah. Marguerite says that Monica me to have a family history of dementia and thought it was I was experiencing early onset. I even had an MRI this week because I was so concerned. Menopause is a bear. It is. It really, truly is. Monica says I do that too. She does the word puzzles too. Anything to keep my brain humming. Laura says, yeah, that black cake is good and rich. Um, I usually would make real big pans and but because of the economy, everything is so much more expensive. One batch takes 18 eggs, 6 sticks of butter, 4 cups. It's just been a lot, and the liquor is not cheap. The A brother said he was bringing me 2 bottles of rum. I asked him what he would cost me. He says your money is not good here. So I went in my freezer and I pulled out a little brown stew chicken and I pulled out some of my soup and I took one of the little cake, little like I did mini bun pans cake, and I'm going to give them to him. He doesn't know. He loves my cooking, so he's going to bring me the rum and I'm bartering with him, even though he won't take any money from me. I'm bartering with him to give him some of my food. Right? That's what we do. Viola says what works for one doesn't always work for another. Right? Which is why Dr. Archima says to me, go get your blood work done. If you get your blood work done, then she's going to kill me because she's been saying this to me all year. I've been so caught up. I have to get my blood work done. And then she looks at my blood work and says, you're deficient here, here, here. She looked in my eyes when I went for my annual visit in August and said, you need more protein and your iron is low. The things that she can see, So I had to up my protein, and I did. I started to feel better, and probably because I'm not eating enough protein and iron. She told me those alfalfa bean sprouts, just put them all over sprinkle them all over my food, and only the Asian markets will sell them. I can't find them in regular markets. It's a really thin alfalfa sprouts, and I sprinkle them over everything I eat and just eat that way. And my body started to feel better immediately. She said they're rich in iron. So Monica said, child, that cake is definitely not legal. I am a lightweight when it comes to alcohol, and one slice knocked me out. Dangerous and so damn good. I did warn y'all though. You should go see her. She Dr. Majors, and then because so many of us are getting sick, and so many of us are just taking things just to take them because we see online that they're good for us and blah 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 blah. We end up making our bodies toxic in one way, or overtaking the thing in another way, or undertaking the thing. So you really do need to go get your blood work done, to make sure that what you're taking is actually what you need. What you need. I was deficient in all kinds of things. So she got me back to my space. And the food, she says, you're eating right, but the food is so depleted of the nutrients that you need. But she says, but you have to know how much of each thing you're supposed to take. Right? So that is important. You just can't go take the stuff. Essence says another saving strategy: report your debit cards and credit cards lost every 6 months. What? This will force you to look at how much you are spending. You can analyze what you're spending money on. Well. Tiffany says, we are kicking off the savings challenge and no spend challenge at my job. I run the financial wellness employee resource group. We do this every year. Well, let's see. Absolutely. I agree with you. Uh, Andrea says, no vitamin is FDA regulated because they're considered a food, not a drug. Well, thank you for that lesson on today. And these will call into the streets, my darling. Morning, everyone. Somebody said, wait, I just saw it. Morva, I've made arrangements for a delivery for you and Mr. Sanders and his sweet tooth. Nobody has a sweet tooth like that man. I don't eat sweets like he's crazy, but he loves sweet things. And he's gotten to the point where he doesn't even tell me when I just look in the refrigerator and I go, there's a whole damn pie in here and it's half gone. I'm not eating that stuff. I can't eat like that. But he has an incredible sweet tooth. Let's see. Yes, Alexandra says, oh yeah, mother, my blood pressure is back to normal. 127/88 reading. Yes. Again, Dr. Archima, she says boil hibiscus tea and put a sprig of, what is that thing that I have sticking out of there every morning? That brings your blood pressure down. It works and it tastes good. What's the sprig that we put in there, Alexandra? Because again, my brain. Viola says that cake can be an aphrodisiac. Laverne says, I don't trust the FDA. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So thank you all for that great, the great advice for what's going on out here. Let me do a little bit. Congratulations, Alexandra, on getting your blood pressure down because I know you were going through it. And Dr. Archima, rosemary, a sprig of rosemary. So we boil hibiscus tea and we put a sprig of rosemary in it and it drops your blood pressure. Yes. Thank you. I see you all here. Let me look and so Parker, State Rep Parker is going to be on first and then we'll take Dr. Ayla. Well, let me see. And she'll be on in about a minute. Let me see what's on in the news. Well, wait. And look at the top of the news. Former Mayor Nutter to endorse Stanford in congressional race. Former Philadelphia Mayor Nutter will endorse Dr. Ayla Stanford for the 3rd congressional district race yesterday. That part I missed. Stanford is one of nearly a dozen candidates looking to succeed Rep. Dwight Evans, who will retire at the end of his 5th term in the U.S. House of Representatives next year. While she does not have experience as a legislator, Stanford has worked in the federal government as a regional director for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for the Mid-Atlantic by President Joe Biden in 2022. Evans endorsed Stanford when she announced her candidacy in October. The endorsement from Nutter, who served as mayor from 2008 to 2016, comes a week after former mayor and governor Ed Rendell endorsed State Senator Sharif Street. Street resigned his position as state party chair to run for the open seat now. I'm going to say this again. I have invited every single candidate running for the 3rd congressional district to come and join me to have the conversation. The women I'm doing State Rep Morgan Cephas early in January. I've done Dr. Ayla Stanford. She's going to be on this morning to talk about the Affordable Care Act and, what we can do to, what we have to look forward to. And so, if the rest of them don't answer, then I don't know what to tell you, but I'm giving everybody an opportunity to come here and have the conversation because this audience, we're not about the foolishness. We're not muling and talking about stuff that makes no sense. We're literally researched. This audience is researched, thoughtful, listen. They go and they do their work. They think through things. So if I ask you to come, if my producer has emailed you and you've decided that this is not what you want to do not say. And I'm telling you this, if any of you hear any of them say, she has never invited me to her show, that is a lie. We literally invited every candidate on. So remember I said it. Atlantic City Mayor Marty Smalls found not guilty on all counts in child abuse trial. Oh, the first one was written by phillytrib.com. Let me tell the sister that I'm ready for her. Woo-hoo-hoo. Woo-hoo-hoo. Marty Smalls, remember him? Atlantic City Mayor Marty Smalls Sr. was acquitted Thursday of endangering and abusing his teenage daughter. Prosecutors accused Small of hitting and emotionally abusing the girl when she was 15 to 16 years old, at least one to the point of unconsciousness. Just weeks before the trial began, Small was re-elected to a new 4-year term in the Democratic stronghold, posting a oh oh okay, hold on. Go out and come back in. Hold on one second, y'all. Um, Just weeks before the trial began, Small was reelected to a new 4-year term in the Democratic stronghold, posting a 24 percentage point win over his Republican challenger. The jury's verdict comes after a week of testimony in which Small's now 17-year-old daughter testified about multiple incidents in which she had said her father had abused her, telling jurors he had beaten and punched her and struck her with a broom. Smalls, meanwhile, took to the stand to deny any abuse, insisting he is a loving father. So so where's that girl going to live now? When they say that he is not found guilty, where's she going to live now? Because she said she was abused. People believe she was abused. The woman who was the principal in the school where she was in, that was not that did not report said abuse, has been fired from her job and now has to go to, when you don't report child abuse, and now has to go to lost her license to be in education anymore, and now has to go to oh, paste, paste. Uh, so where is that child going to live, right? And there are people who are making comments that when you have that kind of power and you've been in court and you're found not guilty and that you still run for office and win by such a large margin, what happens to that child? We talk all the time about children being abused in the home, and I've seen a lot of people say she was being disciplined because she had her boyfriend in the basement with her. So, all right, you can punish her, but beat her to unconsciousness? I'm going to leave that one alone. I am going to leave that one alone. State Rep Parker is trying to get in. I'm going to see. That doesn't work. Hold on, y'all. Let me have her call in. All right. 215. Oh, Jesus. The live broadcast does this all the time. 0146. Y'all know the phone number to call in here, right? 215-400-0146. Hi, Tamara. Joanne Kemp says, I believe the teenager, something happened that wasn't right. Well, people witnessed what was going on with her, and father being powerful as he is, this is what goes on, right? Alexandra says, exactly, that was unnecessary. And she says, over discipline of a teenager who was running around with a boy older than her, breaking house rules, etc. Which one of y'all didn't do that? Well, let me just stop talking. Marguerite says, can you invite Dwight Evans for an interview to have him say what he believes is necessary for the role he's vacating? That's a excellent idea. Excellent. Laverne says, when I got a beat down back in the day, I called the cops. The cops said, follow the rules. When I had to get stitches, she had a case. It's levels to it. Alexandra says, and the comments of her endorsement are reprehensible. I don't know. You have to tell me what that is. Alexandra, what the comments were. Let me let Darisha in. Good morning, my darling. How are you?
Oh, Lord have mercy. I never had this much problem. Me and you've been doing this. They
Forever.
see that I know what it is. the criminal in chief and his people know I'm trying to tell the truth, and they's trying to shut me down from all my blackness. That's why I wore all my black today. So I knew I was ready.
Why are you so crazy? Why are you so crazy? All right, let me introduce you to the people. So
Hi,
for people who
peoples.
don't know, Darisha K. Parker serves in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives as a part of the 198th Legislative District.
Mm-hmm.
She worked as a legislative assistant to her predecessor, Rosita C. Youngblood, and has been active in community safety initiatives. In the state legislature, she focuses on issues like public education funding, violence prevention, criminal justice reform, environmental justice, and affordable health care. Good morning, my sister. It's Third Friday. How are you? Happy holidays.
Girl, I didn't want them beat me up on the chat because I was ashy, so I had to put some shea butter on.
I can't take you seriously. The stuff that comes out your mouth.
But you love me. You love me because I'm not cussing.
Yes, because when I first started interviewing, you were cussing.
Woo, woo. It was a potty mouth, child. Lord.
I don't even know how you got to this place. All right, darling.
Okay, we're
So
ready.
happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you and your
Somebody's
family.
saying good morning, Red Parker. You're not getting your hair done today. No, it looks done.
Tell her. Oh, I love you. So funny. I overslept, so it's on me. So I'm gonna have to get. Listen, sister been tired. This is the second time that I've done that, and a lot of times in our space, this world and this year has been heavy. Heavy that we didn't have a budget on time. Heavy for the egregiousness that's coming out of DC and you're trying to pivot. Heavy that people just want you to respond to DC, and heavy because of my blackness always under attack, and I'm a female. So if I guess what, I love y'all for knowing my schedule because I normally be calling y'all en route to the hair salon, black owned. But just know that it's heavy, and I'm as honest as I can get with you and others. And I think if people, because of their own things, would just give us that grace at times.
Yeah, people are saying good morning to you, Monica,
I
Alexandra.
love you. I love you. I love all y'all.
And wait a minute, Marguerite said, wait, let me find this. Oh, Marguerite says, hey, state rep. I had a great conversations about you when I was away with your mother. She is fabulous, and so are you.
I love you, pumpkins.
Yeah. Wait, Stephanie wants to know if you're in the closet.
Tell your cousin that now that my husband left to work, I came into his office.
You're in the kitchen, and listen, my husband's office would look just like that with all the stuff on top of the shelf. Woo.
Cousin.
Laura says it was good meeting you at the Happy Hollow groundbreaking. I want to volunteer to do financial education. It's where I grew up.
Sure. You can get my number 717-210-1125, and that instantly
1125.
Yes, ma'am. And that comes straight to me. If you send me a text, I can look at it right now.
Okay, 717-210-1125. Correct?
Yep.
State rep. Okay. All right. What's going on in the state house, child?
Oh, child, Lord have mercy on all of us. Well, let me just say, finally, we have a budget, and by us having a budget, we were able to do some amazing things. For me, I am just happy that the budget has passed. And with the budget has passed, I can actually do some grants. I'm very happy in front of you because why? I am looking at $750,000 that Representative Parker was able to bring back to her district in the amount of grants. $200,000 went to Einstein, which is in the 198th district, along with Senator Street. And wait.
The 200,000 went to Einstein for what?
It went for their medical equipment. And when you hear the amount, Andrea, just know that there's other funding that they, had a part of this package, but the $200,000 was the funding that came from the state.
Okay.
I just tell people when you hear a dollar's amount, there's other monies, but the part that we were able to deliver for this grant is the amount of $200,000. Because I see it, I know people in the chat. Oh, they a big hospital. They got.
That's why I asked you the question. Why do they need grants for medical equipment?
Because guess what? I'm gonna tell everybody. Even though they're a hospital, things are tight all the way around. You got to also realize some of these payouts for insurance, some of these other debt that Jefferson had under the old administration, and now there's a new administration in. You got to clear up a lot of debt. So sometimes people try to get creative. So there's ways that the state can help. And if you're an organization or business in my legislative district, as long as you're union friendly, if you're not, then that's a whole nother conversation. Then and you're not fair to if you're not fair to your workers, shout out to no, I'm not drinking Starbucks. I am going to be supporting African American owned baristas. If not, I'll be supporting baristas that are friendly to our workers and staff. Shout out to Freedom Coffee on Oyo Grove. Thank you for patronizing, Andrea. Happy to say that they're opening up another location. And
What?
yes, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might be in my legislative district. If not, I'm gonna claim it anyway. You got 2 locations in 198. I'm gonna pump y'all up even more.
Right.
And that's pretty much what I can say. I'm very excited for that. But
Mhm.
let's go back to $550,000 will be going to the Philadelphia Community Veterans Resource Center, and I can give that a shout out to that organization myself and Senator Street. This is for the Elks. Do you know how excited I am? There was a young man, rest in peace. He's not here to see this. His name is Lance Scott. And he
Oh, stop, stop, stop. In 2009, I was granted a space in
mhm,
an organization called Centers for Progressive Political Leadership.
mhm,
60 leaders from across the state of Pennsylvania. We
mhm,
spent almost a year working on our core values, what we would
mhm.
like to do. I was the only one that wasn't trying to run for office anywhere. Wanted to, Lance was one of them.
Okay.
I was in that group. Lance was my peer in that group.
Mm.
When I learned that Lance died, I crumbled because we saw him losing weight and he was private about what was going on
Very,
with
very
him.
private.
But that man worked so hard,
Oh man.
worked so hard. So we just
So
never know.
you never know. You never know. And I'm just so upset. It's a happy and it's a sad moment because it's like he worked so hard for this organization. And all I kept saying is, Lance, I will make sure it happens. And
Yeah.
he honored me. They honored me. And
Hmm.
look at God. And now here we are. We were able to
And he
secure
passed
them.
away before you could.
He could see any of this.
Shh. Alexandra says, I want to know why Rep. Parker and Democrats weren't invited to meet with the Secretary of the Department of Education. Jefferson is in a $500 million deficit.
I don't know why I
I
wasn't.
don't know.
I don't. I try to tell people all the time, don't get caught up when I'm not invited. Understand that I vote for everybody's budget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I and there's a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
that they don't need. I don't need to be at those meetings.
Yes.
I really don't because what am I going to say? What am I going to learn? What difference it's going to make? If it's not
Mm-hmm.
directly impacting my district, I really don't need to be at the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, I don't get upset about not being there because my focus is on the district. My
Mm-hmm.
focus on the things that me and you are talking about right now. Trust
Mm-hmm.
and believe. There's meetings that I get invited to. Trust me that I don't go to. I just full disclosure. I just don't because
I
I
hear you.
I don't
I hear
because
you.
I mean you talk to people they be
Mm-hmm.
meeting every day and not a daggone thing done. I'm trying to not cuss. I'll be focused. So when we're talking about organizations that I know are boots on the ground
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about the Elks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, these humble men are doing some amazing things,
Mm-hmm.
especially for veterans. Veterans is always going to be near and dear to my
Mm-hmm.
heart. Why? Because I was born on 11/11 on Veterans Day, and I've
Mm-hmm.
always said it's nothing about when you believe in a higher being. You just put it out in the universe, and it'll come back. So
Yes.
this literally was one of the things that I said I always wanted to do something for veterans. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know how to figure out a luncheon. I'm not the parade chick. You're not gonna see
Yes.
me market shit.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get upset, y'all. If y'all send me something, let me tell you something. Where Parker will have some crew giving you some water or giving you
Mm-hmm.
wiping your brow. I'm just not the marching chick. Y'all know how I feel about my
Yeah.
hair. I can't sweat out my hair.
You know what? You
But
crazy as hell. Okay. All right. So.
but to your other point is she's been pushing me a lot harder, which is Andrea. So you'll be
Mhm.
seeing some because I'm looking at this chin. You'll be seeing some financial, not financial. You'll see some weight loss transformation between me and my husband because I know we gotta live above ground and not below.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting back in the grind and doing some things together. But I
And
just
however I can support you, let me know because this
oh
is not
absolutely.
easy. Not
Mm-mm.
easy at all.
Not at
Uh,
our premenopausal stages that I'm
you
going through.
premenopausal. I'm
Okay.
post and about to still knock my husband out.
Okay.
So you gave $200,000 to Einstein, $550,000 to the Community Veterans Resource Center. What else did you give money to?
We still have our $3 million in the budget for menstrual products that's going to be shared throughout the Commonwealth in
Mm-hmm.
various schools, not just in
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia, but throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm still we're working on some other legislation. Trying to figure out, and maybe I can challenge some of your listening audience, and maybe you. I want to feel like, what legislation can I do for African American children? Like, what can be something that is going to say, you know what, she really cares. She really need, this really is needed. I know I want to do some wealth mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm concerned about our kids. I want something that's going to
Me
be on
too.
the
Me too.
the governor's desk, signed into law. I put it out there and tell everybody there's no idea that's off the table.
Right.
You don't have to worry about writing it or whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
have a team of
Mm-hmm.
researchers that literally will sit there on a Zoom with you. You can ask Lynette Medley. She sat there with them. They wrote it up and I smiled. And that's literally
Mm-hmm.
how it works. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are my near and dearest parts. Maybe something, I don't know if it's literacy. I'm not going to overthink it, but I just know
So,
that
so
it's hitting me hard.
let me add something to you. The other day, Denise and
Mm-hmm.
I were driving, and
Mm-hmm.
we saw a 14-year-old boy
Mm-hmm.
just screaming at the air, just talking to himself and fighting by himself in the middle of the street. And we're
Mm-hmm.
noticing a whole lot more of our children being diagnosed with autism on the
Sure.
autism wheel. Figure out, help us to figure, and I mean, this is just one idea
Mm-hmm.
about what we can do to support our children mental health. And then it says support universal free breakfast and lunch for the school children.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else says programming for our children, our schools in Philly are lacking.
Mm-hmm.
um
What about literally etiquette? What about I know people about in the shade room about to beat me up. Let me say this.
she said in the shade room, what the hell? I can't with you.
I am angry at the
Mm-hmm.
makers and the designers that have that brush or comb. If that the dudes do this in their hair, you
Mm-hmm.
look unkept. No shade. Just no shade. I don't know
I don't
why
even know
the
what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
so when you see some of the gentlemen now, their hair looks very dry and it looks matted, and it's a brush that they can put on the top of their hair and like move it all around, and it gives them this, I guess, a natural kind of a look. It just looks unkept. I feel like the men and people right now don't look clean, professional, Philly faded up. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
just looks like dirty and grimy and gungy. Like, I think I had it on there when people got upset with me, and I told them I didn't care about the bonnets and the slippers and the pajamas walking out the house, and you're everywhere. Like, what is happening? I mean, guess what? I'm in the comforts of my home talking to Andrea Lawson, and she knows me to the T. I never have come on in my pajamas.
Yeah, it's we're in a crisis, y'all. It's a mental health crisis. People are showing up at the airport unbathed. They're just not bathed. They're funky. They're walking around bare feet. They got their pajamas on. But they say it's the thing that they're doing now. So I work diligently to stay in a space of
They're
non-judgment. But I
protesting.
said,
I heard
yeah,
they're
but
protesting against the whole administration and
yeah,
everything.
but
Okay.
this has been going on before the administration, right? So
Okay.
we've been in that space. So
Okay.
I say to folks, if you're going to do these things, make sure you're well moisturized. Make sure your edges are done so that people
Mm-hmm.
can see. But then this is the young people expressing themselves. I'm learning, state rep, that there were things we did when we were growing up that the parents was like, "What the hell? What is that?" So I'm learning to remember that I was once a child, and I did something like we wore
Okay.
these short shorts and then really tight jeans, and that would give us a yeast infection. We didn't give a diggity dang because we were all about ourselves, right? And the things, and we had no phones back then.
We didn't have a phone, but we did have. I'm about to mess your head up. We had name earrings. We
Come
had
on,
name belts. I had
come
my.
on.
I was like the Black Laverne and Shirley had my name on everything. So okay, I will
And they
give them
thought we were
grace.
tacky. They
They thought
thought
that we
we
were
were
taking.
tacky.
They thought we were
They did.
taking.
They did. So we have to kind of figure out, what's this new fad for them and just kind of give them a little bit of breathing room
Okay, well, I
to
do the brief
see.
one. But just know that even though me and you are talking and everybody can comment,
Mhm.
Representative Parker is not doing legislation on your
Okay.
hair, or your clothes
But they
and your
already
attire.
passed it. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not doing,
yeah.
I don't get into that. I just really want to see what better ways we can do for our children. Cause I see them in ways that, I want to give them praise on one day and then I'm angry the next. And I
Yeah,
feel as a society and especially as a lawmaker, we're not helping them in the ways that they should be. If it's not getting
yes,
done at home, then it should be feel like they're getting some kind of assistance somewhere.
yes,
So I
yes.
just want to know if that means, us figuring out on our neighborhoods and our block how
Mm-hmm,
we can better with these children. Don't
mm-hmm,
walk past them, just say hello and just show them how to shovel,
mm-hmm,
how to rake, how to cut grass, how to
mm-hmm,
really just be better persons, females and males. So like I said, I really would love for anybody, whether it's you and Alexandra,
mm-hmm,
I want to do something for our kids. And if it
mm-hmm,
has to do within these schools, fine. I don't know if it's free lunches, whatever,
mm-hmm.
whatever people are thinking about, that's on my heart. And I threw it out there in the atmosphere.
So to be fair, there's some things that are being talked about here, like how to carry themselves, etiquette, introductions to different cultures, travel.
Mm.
We can do that. That doesn't have to
Yes.
be legislation. We
No.
can, because
No.
we did it with Vibe and Imagine for 20 something years.
Hmm.
We would take them to the restaurant on Ogons
Hmm.
Avenue,
Hmm.
and 50 of them, and they would show up, and we would work. We can do that. We don't have to wait for government legislation for that.
No. No.
Um, uh Dennis says etiquette, some don't even know the definition. We have to see the examples. But again, when folks like me get up and we get dressed up to go out, or if I'm going to get my hair done and I'm wearing a beautiful Afghan, where are you going? I'm going to go get my hair done. We have to remember that if we want to be the example to the young people, then
Hmm.
it's how we're showing up as adults.
Did you say adults?
We got 7 minutes because Dr. Ayla's coming on. So let me just
Okay.
tell you.
Sure.
Um, Katisha says require a financial literacy as a course in school. Offer small financial investment match upon completion of the program. Yes, we did that too. But we have to be willing and able. We did that with Vibe and Imagine too, right? These children are now adults married with children, running their own firms, all of that. But you have to have adults that are willing to do the damn work and not just and not just
Yeah.
have their name in lights. It's hard. There were days when I laid down on the sofa and said to Denise, "Damn it, bring one of the dogs because he's about to make me lose all my teeth." Because it's just it's consistent. Don't laugh. It's true though.
But no,
It's
you didn't say anything that's not true. So I mean, I give you your
But we
props for
want to
that.
do 2 weeks of work and have our names on lights in the television, and then we absolutely do nothing to help these children, and then we
Mhm.
complain about what these children aren't doing. So that's us. That's not legislation. That's us as a community. We
And let her
damn
know
sure
that
have to
we
do.
still, and it hasn't passed. There's legislation for literacy. There's legislation that has passed. I got to figure out where it is. There's legislation. I know there was for financial literacy or civics. Those are the things that, I can just check to see the status on. Because if it's already in the Senate, then I'll just tell them I'll just be a counter in the House and they just move it past. So I just got to
Yeah.
see what really we can do for children. That's really what I'm thinking
Yeah,
about.
David says state rep is an appetite for the legislature to introduce legislation to help property owners evict squatters immediately. The
Oh God.
incident in
Oh my.
Washington D.C. has
Oh my God.
sparked the
Oh my God.
conversation.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I love him.
Breathe, girl, breathe.
Give him give him the 717-210
Okay, David,
1125.
call
Yes.
717-210-1125.
I
And,
love you for that. That's a big thing. And between now and the next year, my one of my priorities is landlords, making sure I get them in a category that they are recognized as small business owners. They need assistance for individuals who are not, no shade, paying their rent. They need assistance. If a tenant can get assistance for their rent, utilities, then landlords need to be get assistance. And guess what? There's not all bad landlords, but there's landlords that are small business owners that are trying to do the best that they can. They can't get a rental license because they're behind because they're paying for people that are not paying their rent. So we
Mhm.
got to figure this whole cycle out because they're dying too, and some are leaving because they're selling their property. So we have not figured it out, and they are missing this boat, and it's not fair.
Wow. Okay. All right, Dennis. I see you're talking about you would sponsor etiquette class at Booker's. So we just have to make that happen. Booker's would
Sure,
serve the meal. We have someone will have to talk about etiquette. You know how to hold your fork, your knives, your
sure.
whatever, whatever. Those children used to laugh when I said I had to learn how to use a knife and fork when I was 2 years old. growing up and sit properly at the table and how to sit up straight. As I got older, we got, do all those things. Speak when you're spoken to,
Mm.
all the things, that's gone out the window. It's
No
absolutely gone
no
out the window.
elbows on the table.
No elbows, all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Winetta says that right there. How are we showing up as adults with our appearance? People think I'm overdressed all the time, but I wear what is appropriate for me in that moment, not what
Okay.
everybody else is wearing.
Yeah, you've always defined your own way of fashion, so whatever.
Right.
Okay.
So, we have to think, we wear a lot of sweatpants and stuff like that. And I'm not knocking it because it's comfortable as hell, but not every situation requires sweatpants. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to get dressed up to go a certain place. But again, this is what the children are seeing.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the children are seeing.
Okay.
Laura says, I will be reaching out about the financial classes for the children. So if you want to reach Rep Parker with your thoughts and opinions about what we've been talking about today,
Mm-hmm.
717-210-1125. I just put it up in the chat. My
Mm-hmm.
sister, happy holidays. You and I
Mwah.
go back and forth, but you have always been authentically you.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Give my best to Mr. and you. Take some time for
I
you
am.
too. I love you guys. Have a beautiful, fabulous holiday with your family, and take some time to put your phones down. I just need everybody to know I did not watch the Criminal Chief State of Address. I have to protect my mental peace, and I cannot get in, get into the egregiousness, and certain things is just so vital that I just know it would disrupt my whole way of being. And I sometimes would be scared to leave out of my house. So I just say, just protect all of us that have taken this oath of office, because we know our blackness is under attack. Our wealth is under attack, and our educational well-being is under attack. And let's ready to fight. Looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing many of you in the new year. Sis, let's make sure we get some libations or food. I can come over and bust it up with you and Mister. Between now,
Yeah.
and I love y'all. I'm
Mhm.
always gonna be here for you, and help as much as I possibly can, because we got a crazy election coming up. I'm seeking re-election for many people who may not know. There's again, we are talking about what's happening in the world, but let's talk about what's happening locally. We have our state reps and Congress people. We are the only two political office that run every two
Every two
years.
years.
We have certain senators that are running, and we have our it's going to be a ward leaders election. Ward leaders and committee people are up next year. And
Mm-hmm.
we have our governor and lieutenant governor. So
Mm-hmm.
stay tuned. I know there's more that happen, and many may be curious to know whoever is the winner of the 3rd congressional district primary will be a part of my district of the 198th.
All right.
I currently represent Congressman Evans is in my 198th district, but
Oh,
we also have
stop.
Congressman
Stop, stop,
Bold.
stop. I need to reach out to him. Send me how I can reach out to his people. I want to interview him.
Oh, okay.
Is that all right?
I don't care.
Just send me the email. Send me the email, and I'll have my producer reach out to him, because someone said they need to hear from him around why he chose Dr. Ayla. Uh,
I love you. So
Goodbye.
we're
Goodbye.
going
But no. But seriously, we literally
oh.
have to have that conversation with him, because there's Dr. Ella in the lobby. We literally have to have that conversation with him, because he has been around forever and a day, and
Mm-hmm.
there has to be a reason why he made the choice that he did. And I'd like to talk to him before he leaves office, right? But especially before the primaries. Thank you, my
Okay.
sister.
You'll have
Happy
plenty
holidays.
plenty of time. And I don't know who actually is the person, but I mean I can text and find out, because I
Could
really
you
don't know.
please? Because
Okay.
yeah. Thank you, my sister. Happy
Thank y'all.
holidays.
Happy
Feliz
holidays.
Navidad. Happy
Feliz
Kwanzaa.
Navidad. Happy Kwanzaa, Black people.
Yeah. Bye, honey.
Bye.
Bye. Crazy as hell. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm-mm. Are you praying for me?
Oh, yes.
Let me introduce you to the people one after the other. Oh my goodness. Dr.
Mm,
Ayla Stanford is an American pediatric surgeon and national health equity leader from Pennsylvania, from Philadelphia. She's also the Democratic candidate for Pennsylvania's 3rd congressional district in the 2026 election. The reason why I invited Dr. Ayla, we've already talked about her run for the 3rd congressional district. We might get into some of that conversation today, but the reason why we
mhm,
want to talk today is the Affordable Care Act. What's going on
yeah.
there? You know, I also want to talk to you a little bit about the immunizations that RFK is trying to remove. Because as a pediatric
Mhm.
surgeon, I'm pulling on the not just the data, but your expertise. What do the people need to know? And then I have a little bit more conversation about that. We have 30 minutes, so let's go.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us again at such short notice.
Of course. Yes. Okay. So, first thing with the Affordable Care Act, remember when Trump ran,
Mm-hmm,
he said he was going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. He said he was going to close the border. He said he was going to make things affordable in this nation. He said he was going to get rid of the they, them people and a bunch of other hatred speech.
mm-hmm,
He has come to task with CHOP, as you see, with
mm-hmm,
cutting their funding for the LGBTQ plus kids and requesting their medical records. The Assistant Surgeon General, who we all know was sworn in as the first trans person in office, changed her name on her picture.
Rachel. Yes.
Yes,
What did he
Rachel
change her?
Levine,
Yes. What did he
her
change her name to?
to her birth name, which was
Oh,
a masculine name. I won't even give it power. But she came into office after Thanksgiving break and he had changed her name underneath. We know that people are being treated inhumanely, the immigrants, and we are a country of immigrants, and he is proud of that fact. And he said he was going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which is what he ran on. And I have to say, more than 50% of Americans voted for it. So here we are. And I'm just giving the backstory so people
mm-hmm,
know. October 1st, the government shuts down. And it shuts down because of healthcare, because the Democrats are trying to preserve it, because we realize that over 40 million people need it. Specifically, 500,000 people in Pennsylvania will be
mm-hmm,
impacted by December 31st.
mm-hmm.
And then November comes and 8 senators cave in. And everyone's like, yes, the government is open. But what they don't realize is, yes, it's open. And come December 31st, you will have nothing. So for December, some may or may not know that Penny, which is our Medicaid state
Mm-hmm.
system that comes from the federal government, there were more people who fell off insurance in December than enrolled. You know, that open enrollment period, all that stuff.
Mhm, mhm,
More people fell off for the first time in years. And a lot of people couldn't renew. So your premiums will either double or triple. And this is not, so often people think it's that single parent household, that's impacted. I was talking to a college graduate, white woman, who said she gets her insurance from the marketplace
mhm,
and that her premiums, she just got a notice, are going to triple.
mm,
So here she is, 20 something, trying to be self sufficient. She can't afford that as a new grad out of college. So she got to reach back or find it from somewhere. And what a lot of people are doing are saying, I just can't have health insurance. Right.
yes.
So that's what's happening in real time. And one of the saddest parts about it is come January 1st, and maybe not the first because nobody will be thinking they'll still be celebrating, but January 8th, you're going to show up at your doctor and you're not going to have any coverage, right? Because a lot of folks aren't paying attention to this. And where we are right now is, and if you remember, someone showed a clip recently during the debate in 24 with 47 and Vice President Kamala Harris. She said, And the moderator pressed him and said, "What's your plan?" And he said, "Oh, we're thinking about a couple things. We have some things in the works." But there was no healthcare plan, just to get rid of Obamacare. I think he just hates the disdain of the name, Obama, right? That's all he said. Even yesterday, I saw our CMS administrator, Dr. Oz, said the same thing, and he's a physician, and said, "We have some things we're working on." So the bill that is currently on the floor that the speaker has said they're not going to vote on today, I guess technically they could, but he said we're going to vote after the break, is a Democratic bill, which I have to commend. There were four Republicans,
Mhm.
House folks that
Mhm.
voted in favor of it, three from Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
that are finally saying, we are crushing our people. We are crushing our constituents. And so you have some collaboration in the House, but when it gets to the Senate,
It's
it's going to
over.
get crushed again. And so that's what we're dealing with. And so I feel like I've been talking a lot, but I wanted to
No,
get
we're
that
listening. We're listening.
backstory. But from a practical standpoint, I was at the NAACP meeting um, on Tuesday and their holiday party, which was lovely. Thank you for the invitation.
Mhm.
And what I said to the audience was, guys, this is the time to see how you're covered, to
Mhm.
talk to your friends, your neighbors, whomever, to get your prescriptions filled. If you can get a 90-day script, get
Yeah.
as much as you can. If there's anything on any part of your body that's hurting you right now, an ache that you've just been dismissing, I'm gonna worry about it, get an appointment. When they say, "Oh, we're booked up, we can't see you," say, "Do you have any cancellations?" And if you have time between that Christmas and New Year, just go sit in the office, bring your computer, and wait for a cancellation so you can get seen.
Mhm.
If you need a mammogram,
Mhm.
x-ray, CT scan, anything like that, get it scheduled now. And the final thing I'll say is find places in the city where you can get low cost or a sliding scale care or charity care. And there are a couple places that you have your backup plan. I worry about people on dialysis, for example, people who need insulin, that it is literally life saving. And not that high blood pressure medicine isn't life saving, but for somebody to not have insulin for a couple days, they will die. And so, we're at 2001 West Lehigh Avenue, 21st and Lehigh, Dr. Ayla Stanford Center for Health Equity. We take everyone, but we, like many hospitals, are going to be stretched. And so I'll pause there.
Ah, you said so much.
I know. I
Yeah,
had to give
a- a-
folks the
and which is
history.
why I wanted to talk to you because you're, in the middle of all of this, and people needed to understand. So when you said if you need have appointments, if you schedule them now before this thing expires, do you get the treatment or do you have to go get the stuff the
You got to get it before December 31st. They
you got to
won't
get the
honor it.
appointment done before December 31st?
Yeah. Yeah. That depends on your coverage. Now, say you have marketplace coverage, typically your premium is 250 and they tell you after January 1st it's now $900 a month. I mean, if you can afford $900, then you just go as you are. But the whole point of the Affordable Care Act was for it to be affordable.
Affordable.
So, if you got to now spend half of your monthly income paying for your health insurance,
Mhm.
that's the first thing to go. That's the first thing to go, you know? And so what ends up happening, and this is where people get mistaken. Some folks are like, look, I got personal choice. I got a PPO. This don't have nothing to do with me. When people who need healthcare, acute and chronic conditions, don't get their preventative care, when they show up to the hospital, they got one foot in the grave and they're sick,
Yes.
which means your ER is going to be congested.
Yes.
And so when I show up, because, you know, I don't know, I got a cough and I need an x-ray and I want someone to check me out, make sure I don't have pneumonia or something, I gotta wait. Because all these other folks that have been waiting for months because they really didn't want to go to the
Hmm.
doctor, they have filled up your emergency department, right? And you got to wait because at the hospital, they're going to triage who's sickest is going to go first. So this is a continuum. It impacts everyone. So people saying that's rural people or that's those poor people in the city, you're mistaken. And the other thing is hospitals are closing. Got that?
Yes.
Pennsylvania has more hospitals that close than any other state because we rely heavily on those federal funds. And so it's a sad time, especially for me as a healthcare leader, to do so much to invest in patients and then see them not be able to continue because we have a leader who does not care about us and a whole bunch of cronies that just listen to him like he gave them something in their drink and they're just like whatever you say, like they're not even being sensible about it, you know. And it's not to tote my book because it's been out a while, but the title of my book is Take Care of Them Like My Own. And when people say, how do we get to best health care and equitable care in America? I say it's the title of my book, Take Care of Them Like My Own. So if any of these electeds were thinking about taking care of people like their own, we wouldn't be here because they wouldn't do this to their family member at all.
So, whew. Alexandra says a family member was just informed that a diagnostic mammogram copay will be $340
Mm,
instead of
mm,
104 due to the increase in her ACA insurance. I have a friend who has to go get
yeah.
scans because she has a leiomyosarcoma,
Mm,
and to go get her scans and the blood work is now almost $1,000
yeah.
with her insurance. People are really starting to feel desperate. And so my question for you, and you don't have to answer this if you don't think, this you want to do. Do you feel like they're purging the weak?
Oh, absolutely. This is a, I won't even call it a democracy. This is a dictatorship that feels like survival of the fittest. Meaning, if you got it, continue to get it, and we're going to make sure your taxes stay low. And if you ain't got it, good luck. It's not dissimilar from COVID. That's what happened. There were no resources in the communities that needed them the most. You know, the affluent folks were going right to their doctor, getting their COVID test. Have a seat, Mr. Johnson. Have a seat. I'll
Mm-hmm.
take care of you right away. Meanwhile, in 19132, where I am, and in West Philly and in Cobbs Creek, folks couldn't buy a test.
Oh, I
That's
know.
how people know my name in the first place. And that paper came out from Drexel that said that even though there was 4 times more disease in communities of color that were impoverished, there were 6 times more testing in Center City in the affluent wards of the city of Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, that didn't just happen because of COVID. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah.
That's why the health center we built is so significant because people don't invest in communities of color. They're too risky. They can't get a loan. That's where redlining came in.
Yeah.
So the fact that we have 5 medical schools in our city and they haven't decided to put a health center in all the areas with the lowest life expectancy, I want them to do more. You can't tell me that the poor kid that grew up in North Philly has more money than all these health systems that they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't decide to invest to put them where the people are hurting the most. So they
Right.
can walk there, get the bus there, that it's not such an inconvenience
Mm-hmm.
to go several miles, maybe pay for parking and so forth. And so that's part and parcel of the problem that when the pandemic hit,
Mm-hmm.
the groundwork was already laid
Right.
and people had to go. And then when people took the bus and took the sub and regional rail out to the suburbs, they got turned away because they weren't in a car. That's what they said, because they weren't in a car. Then it was because they're docs weren't on staff at the hospital. That's what made me pack up my medical equipment and literally build a hospital in a parking lot,
Mhm.
right? Because we didn't have.
Yeah.
So,
The what's happening with Medicare, because I'm hearing
yeah,
complaints from seniors who are saying Medicare insurance is being turned away because the providers are only getting $6 from the
yeah,
government. And so
yeah.
even though you have this Medicare insurance, you've worked so hard to get to this place in your
Mm-hmm.
life, Medicare it
Mm-hmm.
almost feels null and void these days because there's so much that they're not accepting now.
It is. And the providers, meaning the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals, and so forth, they can kind of pick and choose, honestly. And there's no incentive for them to take care of our seniors because the reimbursable rates are so low, you know, they're so low. And so when sometimes people talk about, quote, Medicare for all, I almost want to break it down and be like, you don't want that.
Mm,
we it has to be better than what it is.
right.
As far as I know, and I'm not going to speak to this because I'm not completely, I want to get you more information. I
Okay.
do believe right now, Medicare, meaning 65 and over,
Hmm.
or folks who have disability Medicare, are still untouched. So, what it was, it should be what it is.
Hmm.
Um, and so, this is more our 18 to 64-year-old folks that
Hmm.
are sort of in the middle. And then the 47, he says, we just want to give people money to get their own health care and take it out of the hands of the insurance companies
Hmm.
because we know how much the federal government gives to the insurance companies. And he's trying to switch it to say, oh, this way you'll be, you know independently in charge of your own, blah, blah, blah. But
Hmm.
the point of the Affordable Care Act in the first place was that people weren't going because they waited till they were so sick. And so they were
Yeah,
diagnosed late and so forth. And we know an ounce of prevention
it's worth
is
a
worth
lot.
a ton of cure, right? And so it's cheaper if you can go every year. If when you
Mhm.
feel a lump, you already have a doc that knows you, that you can go in, get an exam, get your
Mhm.
mammogram, get your ultrasound, and be directed, as opposed to waiting till it grows so much out of your body, right? That there is no cure for you. And I can tell you that chemo and radiation for a non curable disease is much more expensive than a
Mhm.
preventative test, a mammogram, and maybe surgery to have it removed.
Then it says it was by design, trying to eradicate us
Yeah.
uh, one day at a
Yeah.
time. You call 911 now for a hospital, and they want to
Oh,
know if
yeah.
you have insurance. It's sad.
Oh, yeah. You're right, Dennis Thomas. You're absolutely right. I mean, but the take home messages, and if you put something in the blurb like you usually
Hmm.
do,
Hmm.
it's, get that 90-day script. If you got some refills on your pill bottles, go get that stuff filled now.
Hmm.
um Check in with your doc and say, listen, as of January 1st, am I still covered? um Responsible clinicians are giving their patients alternatives,
Okay.
right? Or may have a sliding scale. And you can say, listen,
Hmm.
I've been a loyal patient for years here. I want to keep coming here. What would it cost me to get X?
Hmm.
Um, a lot of places, for example, LabCorp that we use, they have a charity care program where they reduce the cost. So instead of a full lab of panels costing $1,000,
Hmm.
it may cost 150, $200. That's still a lot of money, right?
Yes.
As opposed to it being free when you have health insurance. But
Right.
we do have that. And for us, we've always taken, those with insurance, without insurance. We see everybody, but we only got so many doctors, so many nurse
Hmm.
practitioners. And so, but we will be, and we're not part of that federal, what he's doing in terms of reducing funds. So we are good as long as we can be, and we'll be available to the community, not just in North Philly, but whoever needs us.
Whatever needs you. Give us the address again for that clinic, please.
Okay, 2001 or 2001 West Lehigh Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19132. And we have ample parking, and we're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And I'll just toot our own horn. In 2026, we're opening an imaging center.
Oh wow.
So we will have
Okay.
CT scan, we'll have mammography,
Mhm.
x-ray, and ultrasound. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep. We'll be
Thank
cutting the
you.
ribbon on that next year.
Wow. So much work. And then you're running for Congress.
Oh
You
yeah.
have 8 minutes. So talk
Okay.
to us a little bit about being endorsed by Michael Mayer Nutter because that happened just yesterday.
hmm Less than 24 hours ago, hot off
Mhm,
the press.
mhm,
I'm honored. Um, a lot of people love him or hate Michael Nutter,
mhm,
appreciated the leadership that he brought to
mhm,
the city,
mhm,
the different activities he brought to the city, the
mhm,
accountability he had. I don't believe he was part of the sort of establishment that because this person did it and this person said it, I'm just going to fall in line and do it
mhm,
that way. He was thoughtful with his decisions, still
mhm,
is, but as
mhm,
mayor, thoughtful with
mhm,
his decisions.
mhm,
So when someone who is been an elected official
mhm,
for decades, right? Says, even though you've never been elected, although he did point out, I have been appointed by the
mhm,
President of the United
mhm,
States at the federal
mhm,
level in a leadership position, that I've seen what you can do when there was no playbook. I
mhm,
saw how you built the plane while you were flying it and how you save lives. And
mhm,
you stepped up when it wasn't your job. And I think sometimes people forget I'm a private citizen, still am a private citizen.
mhm,
I have not been elected, I have not been appointed. I was
mhm,
someone who, because I'm born and raised in Philly, people didn't know that either,
mhm.
18th and Erie, public school educated. In fact, I went to college on a Gear Up scholarship from
Did
Shaka
you
Fatah.
really?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Shaka Fatah is how I paid for college.
Amazing.
So back then, if you were smart enough and poor enough, that's how you got that money. So that's what
Mhm,
I would be pushing for at the federal level, to make sure we keep our Title I funding, to make sure we continue to have federal funding in communities, because there
mhm,
should be thousands of Dr. Alas, quite honestly,
mhm.
right? I'm not so special. There are a lot of us out here that, with the opportunity
Would have
and
been
the
able to.
exposure, can do and outdo everything that I've done, right? And so with that, was able to come back and give
Mhm,
to my city. So when my folks were calling me from north and calling me from west, like,
mhm.
Ayla, we're going to the hospital, they're turning us away. I
Yeah.
called them because I've been on staff all those places and said, are you
Mhm,
really turning folks away?
mhm,
And because my heart, my home, my foundation is Philly, and
mhm,
it made me, I showed up. I showed
mhm,
up. I didn't wait for permission.
mhm,
Um, and I'll, again, every opportunity I get, I will tell you, State Senator Art Haywood
mhm,
and Congressman Dwight Evans came to support me in the
mhm,
beginning. I mean, April 2020,
mhm.
before you knew that I would go to the White
Right,
House,
right.
before you knew that I would save 100,000 people. They
Mhm,
didn't know what I would do, how I would
mhm,
impact the
mhm,
community, but they saw something and said, you're doing something. Ain't nobody else out here doing nothing.
mhm,
So let
mhm.
me lend the support to you that I can. And with that, as they say, the rest is
It's
history. And
history.
so no one has to question my loyalty to the
Mhm,
city of Philadelphia, my
mhm,
drive, because I did it, as they say, when no one was watching and when no one asked me to do it,
mhm.
right? I didn't get paid to do it either. In the beginning, I used my own bank account.
Yeah.
My leadership, in a time like this, we need innovative thinkers.
Mhm,
There's no protocol for this. There's no policy that you can look up to say what you do when you have a dictator that don't
mhm,
care about
mhm,
us in Philly, that wants to bring
mhm,
armed guards to our streets. There's
mhm.
no playbook for that, right? And not dissimilar from COVID, when
Right.
there was a public health crisis. So right
Mhm.
now, there's an assault on democracy, and you need somebody who's going to be able to stand up to that. And I've proven what I
Mhm.
can do and
Mhm.
will continue to do.
Dr. Ayla, thank you so, so much because with all the things that you have accomplished, there's still folks who are like, well, she's not a part of the machine. I
Hmm.
don't get it. I don't get it,
Yeah.
right? But continue to do what you're doing because you have built the ship as you were flying it, and people have seen it. And sometimes, folks are on here saying you're a godsend, tell the truth, all of that. You are not always going to get every step that you make in this process correct. So I want you to remember that. Just keep
Okay.
breathing through it. Keep breathing through it. Keep staying steadfast in that. What is your goal? What, and I'm saying this to everybody that's running for Congress, because I've invited only one man came, and he was a man that nobody knew his name until he came on, right? Everybody else said, yeah, 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 yeah. So
Well,
I am
kudos for you for giving folks a platform to
Oh,
get their
listen,
message
I am
out.
not playing because what I
Hmm.
want to do is make sure that the people hear over and over again the consistency of what you're planning to do with your platform. Where are you going with this? What is your record? Right, for helping
Yes.
folks, not just because you are someone that's been around for 10 100 years,
Yeah.
because right now I'm looking at Congress and at the Senate. These people are older than dirt.
Yeah.
And I
That's
mean,
true.
they've been there since Jesus was a boy. What?
Since before I was born. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
And they're
Hmm.
tumbling over as they're trying to speak. And we need fresh new blood.
Yeah.
We do. And we need people
Right.
that are going to be innovative and thoughtful and think about the people, think about your past. Not because I have a name that everybody recognizes, but this is where I am. This is where I am.
Hmm.
But politics
Hmm.
is always going to do what politics does.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
whenever we have a situation like the Affordable Care Act or anything having to do with the children and insurance, I'm calling you
Please do.
unapologetically
Please do.
because folk need to hear. I don't want to hear, well, oh my God, she's running for Congress, so you can't speak. No, no, this is my platform.
Yeah.
This is my
Hmm.
platform. So whenever
Hmm.
there's something that the people need to know, and same thing for the others, if there's something going on there that I know that they can speak to, I'm going to invite them. But if you turn your nose up and say, I'm not going on that platform because XYZ, then you can't say I didn't
Then you
invite
missed
you.
out. Then you missed out.
Absolutely. And this audience
Hmm.
I was saying earlier today is so well researched and well thought out. We're not just having boo-boo conversation.
Hmm.
It's just not,
Hmm.
because there's so much
Yeah.
at stake here. I pay
Yeah.
right now $850 something a month for health insurance. If it doubles, I cannot afford it. Let me be
Yeah.
clear. Let me
Mm.
be clear.
Yeah.
So if we're talking to not just people who are quote unquote poverty stricken, but people in the middle of the road.
That's
The
right.
1% is the ones that are the only ones, and they won't need health insurance because they've got private jets, etc. And they can pay for their health care, and they know enough people to do what needs to be done. It feels like
Yeah.
the purge out here. The
Yeah.
food is expensive. The food we're being given is terrible. It
Hmm.
lacks nutrients, even though they tell you it is healthy for you.
Hmm.
And we're
Hmm.
consistently finding ourselves in spaces that make no sense. I want you to come back on and talk about autism, right?
Ah,
And what's happening with
absolutely.
RFK, what's happening with the
Yeah.
children vaccines. I need
Yeah.
you.
Yes. Please. I mean, we could do like we were doing during COVID. We were
Yep.
once a week. We were once a
I'm telling
week.
you, because
It's coming.
2026 is about to be a doozy. And I don't
Yeah.
think people realize what that's going to mean to our health and well-being,
Yeah.
over time, and people are freaking out now quietly. I don't think it will
Yeah.
be so quiet come 2026. So I
No,
reserve the right
not
to
at all.
call you.
Please do. God willing,
Thank you.
I'll be right here.
Thank you,
God
madam.
willing.
Continue to run the
Yes.
race that has been set before you,
Yes.
and we will talk soon. Okay?
And if you want to know more about it,
Yes.
stanfordforcongress.com.
Mhm.
That's it. Stanford for
Stanford,
Congress.
is that FOR?
Yes, Stanford, like Stanford University,
Mhm.
STANFORD,
Oh, Congress. Okay. Okay.
Congress.com.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
I
wonderful day
You too.
and
Please.
holiday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. It's Oh my God. So much is going on. Thank you, Dr. Ayla. See you
Bye
later.
now.
Bye bye. Um, Tiffany says you don't have to be a part of the machine. That is the problem with Philly politics. Tiffany, running for office is Not an easy task. You have to kiss this one's behind, kiss this one ring, oil this one's machine, wash that one's car, tell them they're absolutely wonderful. And you find yourself caught up in this machinery against your better judgment. Because you start off wanting to do something great for people, to make sure your community is in a better place. But I'm finding more and more as time goes on, the people who are not a part of the machine are the ones who are winning these elections. Look at Donald Trump. Look at our current president. Everybody was like, it can't, not possible, not possible. But he appeals to a certain group of people who are just so tired of being ignored. So I keep telling you all, if you get into office and you got the job, do the job. Spend less time kissing people's behind and more time walking in the community, not just when you're running for office, but walking in the community and saying, what can I do to what do you need? And then go about the job of making that as possible, as much as possible. And then coming back and saying to the people, we couldn't get this done because we ran into bipartisan and this is da 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 da. But this is how you can support us by voting. Come on, y'all. It's my last day on the air until after Christmas. So I'll be back on probably on the 29th. The Diva National holiday comes up shortly after that. But I'm wishing all of you a happy, happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. I think we're in the 5th or 6th day of Hanukkah right now. All of it. Find the peace and the joy and the love for your families. Remember to just breathe through all of it. Be as kind as you possibly can be. And do not make yourselves crazy spending money that you do not have because you want to impress this one or that one or make people feel like you still got it. Folks are struggling, y'all. Even the ones who are not saying they're struggling, folks are struggling. And 2026, if you thought 2025 was something, when I come back on the air on the 29th, or 28th or the 29th, we're going to talk about what's coming up in 2026 that you need to be aware of. As for me and mine, because I have talked until I was blue in the face about what's happening out here. We're going to continue what we need to do to support one another, but we will not be party to spending money that we don't have to spend simply because something aesthetically doesn't look right, or we just really want something to look better and we want to impress the people coming in and out of our homes. And come on, y'all, we got to get better. We've got to get better. Laura says what they're proposing is going back to how it used to be. Guess what? We are insurance companies will institute higher pricing and limitations on conditions you already have. Crazy. You've got any type of condition. If you ain't taking your blood pressure, take your blood pressure medication. You've got diabetes and you need insulin. Work to try and figure out how you're going to navigate through all of that. It's a lot. And happy birthday, Mister. Yes. Because Mister's birthday is on Christmas Day. Lord, I got a Christmas baby. Praise the Lord. And pass the mustard seed. Happy holiday to you too. I see all your messages. Oh, happy holidays. I see you. Merry Christmas and a happy new year. Oh, God bless and protect us. Yes, happy anniversary when it comes, my darling. See you all next week. I will not be on next week. So remember, do not look for me. Go watch some of the old shows I've got in the cache now, 180 something shows just on YouTube alone. Go look, they're there. And then we have the podcast season 1, 2, 3. You've got a lot to listen to. For those of you who have not had the opportunity, just go ahead and do that while I'm off on break. I'm going to go hug my husband, and we're just going to go hang out with each other, and talk to one another and remember why we're married in between all the other things that are going on and our grandchildren, etc., etc. I love you all. I really, really do. This episode, happy birthday, Mr. Oh, all the Cap folks, all the Capricorn season is around the bend, y'all. You can smell the goats coming because, baby, we are not playing. This episode, Mornings with Mocha, is a